Ancient Greece was full of arguments, political debates, court judgments, and Greek philosopher Aristotle 2,400 years ago decided to pose the question, why do certain people have the ability to persuade other people to believe them, to do something, to buy their products? And why do certain people not have that ability? Now, this is what everyone sort of pondered over, but Aristotle was the first person to really put a framework behind it, and he called it the Aristotle Three Pillars of Persuasion. Obviously, he probably didn't call it that. Somebody else probably put that name behind it. But it has three core pillars: logos, which is logic; ethos, which is emotion; and pathos, which is credibility. I'm going to talk about all three of those in just a moment. But these three core pillars are the reason you're willing to pay extortionate prices for the top brands in the world. It's the reason you're willing to lay down in a hospital bed and allow a surgeon to perform surgery on you. So we're going to break that down within this video. Before I do that, I would like to start by talking about one of my own clients' results. Brings us back to 2 years ago. I was just getting my design agency to a really good level, providing really good results. I had a bit of credibility behind me now. I was upping my prices. I was going beyond 2,000 per project, which a year before this, I was scraping by charging 300 for a website. But now I was providing real value. I was speaking to the customers I really wanted to speak to. I was able to charge a lot more, and I was working a lot less at this point. This fleet management company, they get in contact with me. It's one of my first big clients. They paid me a lot of money to build this website for them. And the owner, one of the directors, he got in touch with me. He's like, look, we're doing okay. We're getting contracts through the door. We're getting by. But we really want to be that expert, the go-to fleet management company within the Asia Pacific. These principles apply across the board. So what I did is I went in depth. I understood the industry, but most importantly, I understood their exact customer. They want professionalism. They want facts, they want statistics, they want exact results. And we did that across the board. Their ads, their website, their branding, the copywriting on the website. We went with a nice dark blue to really instill that trust. We used some softer colors as well. If you don't really understand the concepts of fonts and color psychology, that's something you really need to look into. A lot of business owners overlook the small things, but as soon as you understand your customer, you get that character avatar document together. Every part of your business needs to speak directly to your ideal customer, because as I said in the last video, if you speak to everyone, ultimately speak to no one. So that's exactly what we did. A couple of months later, Josh got in touch with me. He's like, look, Jacob, this has absolutely blown us away. I put the exact message he sent me on the screen now, but they were projected to make millions in additional revenue just from the changes that we made with that website, along with the ad spend, of course, but they wouldn't have got those results unless they had that established brand right there to bring that traffic to. So this was a really big project for my own brand, for my understanding of these three pillars. But since then, I've helped hundreds of businesses understand who their customer is and apply these three pillars to their businesses. It allows them to charge more, get more leads through the door, choose who they work with, just really live a much more fulfilling business and lifestyle. How do you do this for yourself? How do you get to a point with your business where you can charge more, where you can start getting more consistent leads through the door? As I did with OddsFlow, you're going to have to understand who you're talking to. So you're going to have to fill out the character avatar document down below. I'm not going to get you to sign up to some email list. It's literally just a PDF document. Download that and think back to a customer in your past that was really willing to invest, you enjoyed working with them, and literally describe them. Go into as much detail as possible, search Reddit, search Facebook, wherever that ideal customer is, get as much information about them as possible, fill out that document and internalize it, get a good understanding. How do you actually speak to those people? So across the board, within the website, within the ads, within the logo, within the copywriting, the way your team answers the phone, you need to be speaking directly to that person, and you need to understand Aristotle's three pillars of persuasion to really get through to them, get them to do what you want, and put this into action. The three pillars. First of all, we have logos, which is logic, the facts, the statistics. So what could this look like? If you're a photographer, you could say a fact could be, I don't know if this is true, businesses that use professional photography over stock images see a 2x ROI. Facts like that, statistics, what's going on in the market, things like that. It would look very different for different businesses, but you get, that's the logical side. That's the number one thing that will just sort of flick a switch in your customer's brain, make them want to work with you. We've also got ethos, which is emotion, the opposite of logic. So emotion, what could this look like? This is more things you can't really put a name to. The colors on your website. If I use a really dark red, granted, this will have different effects to different customers. For example, in China, red is a color which sort of represents success. Here in the West, that is something that is pretty much the opposite. It's quite an angry, negative color. So when you see all these charts about color psychology and how it has different effects for different marketing methods, I would probably just ignore that. I would use it as a base. But when you understand who your customer is, you can use AI, your own logic, to understand how different colors will affect your customer. This goes for pretty much anything: the logo, imagery, your copywriting, and you'll find a lot of this stuff overlaps. Logos and ethos could overlap a lot, because if you've got a fact, that could create quite an emotional response. That's the emotion side. Finally, we have pathos, which is credibility. This is your testimonials. This could be if you've got a boxing glove company and you've got Mike Tyson on your Instagram saying how much of a great boxing glove it is. It's a great material, it's a great weight. Instantly, your customer's going to think, hey, I love Mike Tyson, I want your product. And they are the 3 pillars of persuasion. So now you've got a good understanding of what that is. Once you have that character avatar document together, throughout your website, use these 3 pillars, speak directly to your customer. And well and truly, you're the only person that's going to know what that is. Unless someone like me, like a brand specialist, is going to get on board with you, get to know your customer. It's all down to you, to be honest. You need to really do your research, find out exactly where your customer is, and then go ahead and take action. Make real changes to your brand. And I promise, with a bit of consistency, every reel you put out every week should speak directly to your customer. If you're consistent with this across the board, you're going to see some really good results from this. You're going to be able to charge more, get more consistent work through the door, as long as you're getting out there to the right places. So if you've got any questions at all, feel free to reach out. These 3 pillars of persuasion are what the best salesmen use to sell their product, what the top brands use to get people to pay extortionate prices. So if you've got any questions at all, drop me a comment below. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram.